What's up, gear nerds? Grady Hansen here, Guitar Gear How To. I know it's been a long time since I put out a video for you guys. Been really busy with my band Stone Prophet. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. Yeah, shameless plug. There you go. Been really busy with those guys though. So we have a little lull. So I'm actually going to talk to you about how to get 3 different tunings out of one Floyd Rose Tremolo guitar. So the way I'm going to do this, we use 3 different tunings. We use standard E, we use drop D, and we use drop C. And I know I've got some other videos on my channel about the Line 6 Variax guitars, and they're really awesome for instantly changing tunings, but they don't have a shape that I like. They have the Shuriken, which I love, and I've got one, but it doesn't have a Floyd Rose on it. It doesn't have a tremolo bridge on it. And they have the JTV89, which does, but it's just kind of not my style of a guitar. I'm a big guy, and it's kind of a little Strat guitar, so it looks like I'm holding a toy. So I like Explorers and Vise because they're big, and I don't look like a giant holding a baby's toy. So in order to get 3 different tunings out of a tremolo guitar, what I'm going to do is put on this device, ESP arming adjuster. It is a tremolo stabilizer, so that when I drop it from standard E to drop D, that will stabilize the bridge and not make the whole damn guitar go out of tune. We're also going to put on a detuner-like device called the Tone Vise, and that's just so you can flick it back and forth between standard E and drop D. And then I will be using a Digitech whammy drop pedal to go from drop D down to drop C. It's a polyphonic drop tuning pedal. Works pretty smoothly, tracks pretty well. So I'm hoping with that I'll be able to get away with being able to do 3 tunings, not have to bring 3 or 4 guitars to a gig. Yeah, it'll be awesome. So there was no videos anywhere that I could find except for a really cool guy on YouTube as well named Leo Garcia. He had a pretty decent video of how to install the arming adjuster because it comes with this. There's a little explanation in English there of what the thing does, but the actual installation instructions are all in Japanese. I thought ESP was a American company. I've got like 3 ESP guitars on my wall back here. Anyways, so although his video was really good, it did leave out a couple of things, like, you know, how to actually adjust it after you get it in. And there's a little felt pad that comes with it that you put in between the actual device and your trem block to dampen sound. It didn't really say in there whether you needed to put that on before or after you actually install the device, because it's going to create a gap and push on your trim a little bit. And he was actually super cool enough to answer that question for me right away last night and got right back to me. So I'm not knocking his video in any way, because without his video I wouldn't be doing this video. So I'm just going to try and address a few things that he didn't. And so this Tone Vise pitch shifter thing that's like the D-Tuna, it works good. It was super easy to install. I'm not even going to really show you how to install that, because if you buy one, their website has a pretty good video, and it literally only took like 5 minutes to install. But disclaimer, and they don't tell you this before you buy it, it negates your fine tuning adjuster on your guitar. You can only fine tune when you have it in drop D mode. When you're in E, you're hosed. You got to unlock your nut and tune it up there. But they kind of came up with a problem solver for it. They also sell this quick release nut clamps. So I've got those on the way. Haven't put them on yet. So that's going to be my solution to that problem until I figure out some kind of different drop tuner to put on my guitar. I wasn't sure a D tuner would fit because the cavity behind my Floyd Rose on the top is kind of small, and those things look a little long and wonky. So I went with this pitch shifter device because it's nice and small and tight, and I knew it would fit in the cavity. So I might end up staying with it. Who knows? But I don't like not being able to fine tune when I'm in standard E. That's kind of lame. But other than that, great device, easy to install. So, anyways, let's get into the main thing. Let's get into the installation of the ESP arming adjuster. Here we go. Okay, so here's the brand new Schecter that I literally just took out of the box, and now I'm gonna drill holes in it and stuff. So this is the actual unit. This is the ESP arming adjuster. This is the spring that I was talking about. So it's got this adjustment nut right here. You want to just screw it until this black spring that you see behind this adjustment nut is all the way compressed. Just go until you can't go no more. And hopefully you can see it. The obstacle I ran into on this particular guitar is it's not flat all the way. There's a little step down right here. It goes flat and then it steps down, and of course the holes for the arming adjuster are just past that little step down. So I went to the hardware store and picked up these brass screws here, and they're a little bit too big to go down to the holes, so I had to get them longer than the stock screws here, but they're a little bit too big to go down into these holes. So I'm going to have to file out these front two holes for the arming adjuster a bit. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I spent, because it's funny, it says right here, set up to play, but the bridge, I'll show you pictures, it was not level. So you want your bridge perfectly level. I moved this spring from here to here. I figured you want the two springs on your heavier side, string wise. You know, your heavy strings are up here. We'll leave the single string down here on your high E side. And then you take your arming adjuster and set it in there as squarely as possible, and make sure it's up against the bridge. Oh, almost forgot something important. They also sent this little felt pad that you're going to stick right here so that you don't have metal against metal. So back to this adjustment screw a little bit. So what that is like right now, as I told you, you want to set it up with it all the way tight. So as the where it sits right now, when I put that up against there with that spring all the way tight, it's basically going to give you a fixed bridge. You'll be able to dive bomb, but you won't be able to pull up. By adjusting it back forward this way, it'll start giving you tension both ways, and you can just kind of get it to where you like the way it feels. You can have your trim stiff or loose, however you like it. I don't like mine too loose. I'm not a fluttery guy. I don't like mine too loose because I do a lot of palm muting, and so I want it to be, you know, fairly stable for my palm mutes, so I'm not sitting there warbling my tune up and down while I'm playing my palm mutes. So quite a big, oh, it's two pieces. I was going to say it's quite a big piece of felt they gave us, so I guess you get an extra piece if you decide you want to take this out and put it in another guitar, or this one wears out someday. I don't even know. Ordinarily, I would probably rub that down with alcohol, but this is a brand new out-of-the-box guitar, so I'm going to assume that it's pretty dang clean, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that on there. And hope that it stays forever. And set it in there as squarely as possible. Then I'm going to take my little poker here and just kind of mark the place where my holes are going to be, so that we can take a drill. And these ones are going to be difficult because I'm right on that ledge. We're going to take a drill and drill some pilot holes for our screws. That way we don't split anything. Right, people? Lift this up just to make sure there's no pressure on the trim from the guitar laying on the pillow, you know. And I'm just gonna push this in until the trim block just starts to move, and then let off on it, because you just want it to you want this thing to stop your trim block when it is perfectly level on the other side. Moment of truth. I'll make my pilot hole marks. Right, meow. And right, meow. And right, meow. And yeah, well, those ones aren't going to work. What I'm going to do is screw in these back ones first. And then I'll kind of mark right here on this ledge, and I'm going to have to file out little grooves, because the screws are actually hitting the edge of this stupid ledge I got in here. So I'm going to have to file grooves for the screws to go into, and then down to this ledge where they're actually going to screw in down here. So I'm going to do all that shit and be back. Okay, so it's installed. So a couple little things to note. The little felt pad that they give you, don't put that on until after you have it installed. That is one of the things old Leo advised me on. That was one of my questions that I had that wasn't really covered in any video that I could find. So what I found too is this little piece right here at the end, this little brass piece that actually goes up against your trim block. It's adjustable. You can actually turn it out. So when you get all your guitar set up and tuned and whatnot, after you install this, it's probably going to push your bridge a little bit. So if you leave some room on the threads for this thing to go both ways, then you can kind of actually globally tune all your strings a little bit to get it fine-tuned and set in place. So so that is that. Another little hack I'm going to do is I'm going to silence my springs, and I was going to do that by sticking some rubber down inside these springs, but it doesn't really want to fit, because these are actually kind of narrower springs than normal springs that you see. So what I'm going to do is get some foam and put it underneath my springs just to kind of silence those a little bit. And it works. So just to show you kind of the general principle, I'm going to hit the whammy bar, and you can go both ways. And when I go down into drop D, that's going to stop it. Stop the rest of the strings from going out of tune. And doing that, I just actually pulled my low E out of the saddle, because I probably didn't have it tightened in there far enough when I was putting on this tone Vise pitch shifter, which takes me from E, boom, to drop D. And there's a really good installation video from the company on how they put this in, so I'm not really going to get into it, but it's really as easy as taking out your original back bolt right here and just replacing it with this. And you can go from E to drop D. But like I said, it negates your fine tuner. So, and when I said in the beginning of the video that I'll be able to get 3 tunings out of this guitar, so I'll be able to go from standard E to drop D, and then with the help of a Digitech drop pedal, I'll be able to go from drop D to drop C. So that's how we're going to cheat 3 tunings out of a tremolo bridge guitar. And there you have it, folks. You're probably going to have questions. Hit me up, man. Message me, and I will answer them the best I can. And there we go. Going to be a sweet setup after I get this string back in there. Anyways, thanks for watching, and jam on.